A space marine can wage hundreds of wars on hundreds of worlds and live 10,000 years or more. His weapons of war and armor are just as important as his gene seed. They have a multitude of different weapons, tanks, transports, and aircraft, along with many different types of power armor. Each of these tools allow him to survive against the galaxy's toughest foes. If he is to survive in the grim future of the 41st millennium, a space marine must hone his skills with his weapons or face death quicker than most. Power armor is worn by most space marines. It is the standard suit provided to most classes of marine. It is a completely enclosed suit of armor made of thick ceramite plates. The armor uses electricity-motivated fiber bundles to replicate the wearer's movements and enhance the user's strength. Power armor is fully sealed. This protects him from hostile environments or hazardous atmospheres. There are 9 main components that make up Space Marine armor. The first is autosenses. Autosenses are contained in the helmet. It includes communication arrays and audio filters. It also comes with targeting reticles, rangefinders, tactical displays, and auspex links. The next components are the photo lenses. The photo lenses allow the Space Marine to see through light bursts as well as in infrared, ultraviolet, and low light conditions. Next up is the respirator Vox Grill. This device amplifies a Marine's battle cry and contains a respirator to filter out toxins. The armor also comes with auto-responsive shoulder plates. These are shaped to deflect and absorb incoming blows. This is usually where the Marine iconography and the squad markings are displayed. The chest piece is self-explanatory. It's the center of the armor and protects armored power cables beneath it. The backpack power unit is where the primary power core for most of the armor is located. It also stores reserve cells and an emergency solar collector. Power armor also comes with a life sign monitor. It comes equipped with an injection system used to regulate painkillers, antitoxins, and combat stims. The armor also houses a nutrient reservoir. This self-replenishing high-energy food store can sustain a Marine's metabolism. This ensures that during battles or long engagements, a Space Marine does not need to eat or drink. The final notable components to a Marine's power armor are the reinforced greaves. They come with gyroscopic stabilizers and power units that can magnetize the soles of the armor's boots. This allows the Space Marine to walk on metal surfaces in the void and in zero-gravity environments. These are the main components to a Space Marine's armor. Each enhances his powers and combat abilities. Along with the many components, there are just as many variants of power armor that have been created throughout the thousands of years of war. The first power armor variant was created before the first actual Space Marines were made. It was worn by the Marines' predecessors, the Thunder Warriors. It is called Mark I, or Thunder Armor. Thunder Armor was not a completely enclosing suit of armor and did not have any life support functions. It was only manufactured for the fighting on Terra, Luna, and Mars. The suits varied, often being designed based on the wearer's personal taste. The main part of the armor is a massive powered torso which encloses the chest and arms. Beneath the armor plating are coiled energy cables that transmit power from the power pack to the back of the arms. This greatly increases the physical strength of the wearer up to 3 or 4 times. The power supply is located in the back-mounted unit that comes equipped with cooling systems to prevent the armor from overheating. The armor makes much more noise compared to later marks, and very few suits of armor remain in the 41st millennium. The second variant of power armor is the Mark II, or also known as Crusade armor. The Crusade pattern was manufactured on Mars and was the standard variant given to the Emperor's first Space Marines. This was the first design to be fully enclosed with life-sustaining capabilities, which enabled the Marine to fight in toxic environments and in space. Crusade armor is fully plated, and the legs are also armored. The armor plates are arranged into articulated hoops, which gives the Marine increased mobility. The backpack is roughly the same size as the Mark I, but is more efficient and comes with an array of systems. This includes extra life support, air recycling, fluid recovery equipment, as well as an automated medical devices. The helmet has automatic sensory devices developed on Mars. This allows the wearer to see and hear as if he isn't wearing his helmet. All information is to a computer in the helmet before being transmitted directly to the wearer's brain through a neural link. The helmet enhances sight and hearing while dampening blinding lights and deafening noises. In addition, the helmet allows the wearer to see in the infrared and ultraviolet spectrums. Images can be zoomed in and magnified while noises can be enhanced. Finally, the helmet was fixed in a single position, but allowed the wearer to turn his head inside. The third power armor variant is the Mark III or Iron Armor. The armor was preferred when cover was minimal, during frontal assaults, boarding actions, tunnel assaults, and void warfare. The armor was a heavy, modified Mark II design that ended up being the most brutal and imposing armor designed. The Iron Armor has augmented frontal defense and comes with more plating. The new helmet design is a heavily armored model with sloping plates designed to deflect shots to the left and the right. The downside to all this armor is that it weighs much more and consumes more power than other patterns, some even claiming it is too clumsy and uncomfortable for conventional warfare. Mark IV, also known as Imperial Maximus suit, was designed by the Adeptus Mechanicus towards the end of the Great Crusade. It was designed with the intention of making a more standard design for mass production compared to the other variants. The armor removed separate adjacent plates for larger and flexible armor casings incorporating flexible joints. This reduced mobility, but was far easier to produce and maintain. Over time, the Mechanicus was able to improve the armor by improving its protection and the suit's weight at the same time. The improved armoring of the power cables allowed the main arm and chest supply to be safely located to the exterior, while the use of new material reduced the size and number of cables. The helmet was a completely new design. Inspired by the sweeping front of the Mark III, this also allows the helmet to fully move with the wearer's head with improved neural connector gear. The round nozzles on either side of the backpack are used for heat resetting and could also be used as stabilizer jets in zero gravity. The Mark V pattern of power armor is also referred to as the Heresy armor. The Mark V was created during the Horus Heresy when legions were constantly mobile and low on resupply. With the legions lacking spare parts for their power armor, tech marines had to use spare parts from older models or scavenge parts from the battlefield. This rush to fix max quantities from scavenged and old parts led to a new variant being accidentally created. These makeshift marks were eventually named the Mark V once production for the Mark VI was underway. Mark V power armor sets usually come with a host of modifications and with molecular bonding studs. These studs were a quick addition and made for a new ablative layer to the suits. The extra weight generated was considerable, but placed a strain on power supplies. This caused the suits to require more power sources and cabling to be effective, which meant that the suit required more plating to protect these new cables. This left the wearer in a circle between dealing with the extra weight or cranking the power up to extreme heat output, which compromised the Marine in certain situations. The Mark V housed improved autosenses as Terminator suits, but still inferior to the Mark IVs. The Mark VI, or otherwise referred to as Corvus armor, was first field tested by the Raven Guard. Mark VI does not offer more protection from Mark IV, but it instead has more efficient power routing and autosenses. The armor featured the best stealth capabilities out of all other marks and is the lightest variant. It houses dual technology circuits, which allows the replacement of rare parts with common alternatives. It comes with a conical nose that houses advanced autosenses. The armor features clean, sleek lines due to the routing of power cables under the exterior plate, as well as increased sloping of the helmet design. It was named Corvus armor in honor of the Primarch Corvus Corax. The seventh variant of power armor is the Aquila armor. It was developed during the Horus Heresy and is the most common form of power armor. The Mark VII is the final development of Mark VI. The armor introduces a new chest plastron that covers the chest and arm cabling. The armor abandons any studded armor plates and replaces the helmet. The armor is so similar to the Mark VI that many of the parts are interchangeable including the helmet. Mark VIII or Errant armor is a highly modified Mark VII with new armor plates on the torso and an armored collar to protect the helmet's respirator as well as the neck joint. The new collar required a new helmet design, which caused problems for backwards compatibility with other helmets. So far, it has only seen limited production and often only worn by veterans. The newest set of armor is the Mark X Tacticus armor. The Mark X was developed by Belisarius Cawl around the same time as the Primaris Marines. Mark X is more versatile than its predecessors, as it is able to be adjusted for multiple tactical roles. The armor has multiple variants. These include the Gravis pattern, which is used as heavy armor by commanders and aggressors, and the Phobos pattern, used by Reavers and Vanguards. The Gravis offers a level of protection near Terminator level, but the flexibility of standard designs. A lighter jump pack with the Grav Shoot variant of Gravis, known as the Omnis pattern, is utilized by Vanguard suppressor squads. Another variant is the Phobos pattern. Phobos is designed to allow greater mobility, and its servo motors are completely silent. The design sacrifices protection for stealth and speed and is utilized mainly by Reaver squads and Vanguard Space Marine squads. Some side notes include a jump pack. Jump packs are back-mounted devices with jets powerful enough to lift Space Marines and their armor. They increase the wearer's mobility on the battlefield, allowing the Marine to leap over obstructions and launch himself into combat from aircraft. Artificer armor is the name given to individualized and heavily modified suits of power armor. Artificer armor is usually modified and decorated for a certain individual. These suits are difficult to manufacture and must be maintained in the best possible condition for as long as possible. Scout armor is worn by Space Marine scouts before they are given a suit of power armor. It is made of overlapping plates of carapace armor, while the fatigues are made of ballistic nylon, which gives further protection without reducing movement. This quieter and less cumbersome armor makes Scout Marines ideal for infiltration and sniper duties. Centurion armor is a heavy type of Space Marine armor employed by Centurions. The suit is made of thick ablative armor, making the Marine much more durable. The size of the suit allows for additional heavy weapons to be taken. Tactical Dreadnought armor, or better known as Terminator armor, is the toughest and most powerful armor humanity has developed. Like power armor, the suits have an outer shell of ceramite bonded plates powered by electrically motivated fiber bundles. Plates of heavy plasteel reinforce the ceramite sections of the suit, mainly the front of the armor. This extra armoring offers protection far superior to normal power armor variants. This extra armor adds to the weight of the suit, making the wearer less maneuverable and slower. External adamantium ribs and suspensors help support this weight for the wearer. Terminator armor is fully enclosed with life support functions and includes an array of sensors such as radiation monitors, biological detectors, and self-diagnostic scanners. Terminator armor also comes with motion monitoring sensors and threat detectors. The armor's sensorium links directly into the wearer's own awareness, allowing him to use his scanners and detectors without conscious thought. Sensoriums in a squad can be linked, allowing the wearer to see the exact same view as his comrades. Terminator armor may come equipped with a teleport homer. This allows Terminators to teleport directly onto the battlefield in the enemy's midst. Terminator armor is at its best when used in cramped conditions such as boarding actions and long corridors. Terminator armor comes in several patterns. One such pattern is the Indomitus pattern. The Indomitus pattern is the most widespread Terminator armor in the 41st millennium. This is due to its template being held by main Forge worlds such as Mars. It can be seen in use by any and all chapters, including traitor legions. The Cataphractii pattern was one of the first issued suits of Terminator armor. It is distinguished by its large and layered pauldrons. It came with additional plating and shield generators. This extra armor caused strain on the suit's exoskeleton, reducing the wearer's movement speed. The Tartaros pattern was developed during the last years of the Great Crusade. It shared many systems with the Mark IV Maximus power armor. This suit provided much more mobility compared to the other suits, like the Indomitus pattern, with no loss in durability. The Gorgon pattern is an Indomitus pattern developed by the Primarch Ferrus Manus. This prototype replaced field generators with experimental systems that convert incoming electromagnetic and kinetic energy into bursts of blinding light. The heat and electrochemical toxins bleeding from the suit limited the armor's agility, and its effects require the wearer to have a high level of cybernetic modifications to withstand it. In conclusion, Space Marines utilize all types of armors and components. The mark they pick depends on the environment they find themselves. When on recon, Marines will often use Mark 6 or Mark 7. When being thrown right into the heart of the enemy, Space Marines need to be much more durable and pack a lot more firepower. This is when Terminators are sent in to smash up enemy formations or cause a breakthrough. Space Marines are durable enough as it is, but when paired with a suit of power armor, it makes them one of the galaxy's greatest warriors, able to fight and dominate any war zone they find themselves in.